Okay, ready. As you may remember, the last lesson we had, or the last class we had, we saw lesson number 2. So today we're gonna go with lesson number 3 and 4, if time's right. So for starters, we're gonna go with some new vocabulary, okay? Now this vocabulary, I want you to listen very carefully how we can pronounce this. And for that, I'm going to play this little video over here. So please tell me if you can listen to
Page
it.
8. Before you listen.
You hear it?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Exercise
Pay
A.
attention. And with your microphones opened or closed, whatever you want, try to repeat words, okay?
Vocabulary. Manners and etiquette. Read and listen.
Etiquette.
Etiquette. Etiquette.
Cultural literacy.
Cultural literacy. Cultural literacy. One more time. Cultural literacy.
Table manners.
Table manners. Table manners.
Punctuality.
Punctuality. Punctuality.
Impolite.
Impolite. Impolite.
Offensive.
Offensive. Offensive.
Customary.
Customary. Customary.
Taboo.
Taboo. Taboo. Okay. So this is the pronunciation. Now let's see what these words mean. Okay. The first one, etiquette. Okay. Etiquette are the rules for polite behavior in society or in a particular group. Remember, polite is the same as good. Okay. Correct. Polite behavior, how a person acts. Okay. The correct form of acting of a person. Rules for polite behavior in society or in a particular group. Okay. For example, there are restaurants that have a certain the restaurants that have an etiquette. Okay. So when the restaurants have a code or a set of rules as an etiquette, you have to go with the proper dressing code. You have to go with the proper hair stylishing, or the proper rules for that particular restaurant, because it has an etiquette. Okay. Also, when you are in a formal conversation at work, at the office, you have to speak on a certain way. You cannot be very informal. You have to be formal. That is also related to the etiquette. Okay. The next one, cultural literacy. It's about knowing about and respecting the culture of others. Okay. For example, if you work at an office and there is a person who comes from a different country, let's, for example, say a person who comes from China, and before they eat, they pray, or they wash their hands in a particular way, or whatever. And you respect that, and you are aware. Okay, you are aware of the differences and you respect them. You are using or practicing the cultural literacy. Table manners is also related to like etiquette, but these are particular rules for eating. Okay, the particular rules for polite behavior when you're eating with other people. Okay, so of course it's not the same to eat in your house with your family or with your siblings than eating in a restaurant, in a fancy restaurant or an etiquette restaurant, and having to be very, very polite. Those are table manners. Punctuality, when you arrive on time. For example, when you arrive on time to your class, when the class starts on time, that's also an example of punctuality. Impolite is when you are rude, when you have a bad behavior, when you say things that you shouldn't say, when you offend others with the things you say. You can be impolite. Okay. Offensive, of course, extremely rude, things that are way out of the correct forms or correct behavior. Customary is what's tradition, okay, in a particular culture. For example, here in Mexico, it's customary to eat with tortillas. Okay, it's customary. We do this because it's part of our culture. It's part of our tradition. Not necessarily that we have to, but it's just customary. Okay. Also, for example, it's customary to dress with particular clothes on September 15. Okay, with Mexican clothes like revolutionary clothes and dresses, and to comb your hair in a certain way because you're celebrating tradition. That we do it every year, and so we can say that it's customary. And it's also customary to eat Mexican food, enchiladas and flautas and everything else, right? It's part of our culture. And the last one, taboo, is when something is not allowed because of very strong cultural or religious rules, okay? For example, talking about sexuality in the school, at school, okay, or something like that. It's not very common. People sometimes get offended or they get scared when you mention these or that, and that's like very strong, and so people don't want to talk about that. That's taboo. Okay. Also, when you are at church and people start to talk about demons or whatever, they don't like to talk about that. When something is uncomfortable, okay, it becomes something taboo. All right, things that nobody wants to talk about. That's pretty much what it means. All right, so now that we have clearance of the meaning of these words, okay, I would like you to help me to answer this exercise. But before we do, I see that we have Andrea and Pamela. Are you guys together in the same room, connected in the same account?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you both. I don't want you to be helping each other, okay? But let's go. Let's start up with number one. I'm gonna ask you, Christy, to help me read number one. Okay. So you can say it's taboo or it's impolite to eat pork in some religions. What do you think is best for this first one?
It's taboo.
Can you read?
It's taboo to eat pork in some religion. No one would ever do it.
That's correct. It's taboo to eat pork in some religions. For example, the Jews, they don't like to eat pork. They wouldn't do it. It's against their religion. It's prohibited, so they don't do it. Thank you. Number two, Jesse, can you read number two for me, please?
Many people believe that punctuality is important and that being late is impolite.
Okay, very good. Just be careful. It's important, and that being, okay, being late.
Being
Late. Perfect, Jesse. Thank you. Number three, Andrea, please.
In some cultures, it's offensive to take pictures of people without permission. So few people do that.
Correct. Yeah, it's offensive in some cultures to take pictures of people without permission. Do you think it's offensive to do that in our culture here in Mexico? Andy, do you think it's offensive to take pictures of people without permission here in Mexico? Is that part of our culture?
Yes.
Yes, I agree. It's not very common, right? Okay, number four, Pamela, please. Can you help me with that one?
Some people think that talking with a mouth full of food is an example of bad cultural
Literacy. Literacy. Okay.
literacy,
Okay, again, cultural,
cultural,
leader,
literacy,
literacy.
literacy.
Correct, but that's not the correct answer. The correct answer is table manners. Why? Remember, guys, cultural literacy is when you respect other people's cultures, okay, or traditions, and you are aware and you respect them. So in this case, it says some people think that talking with a mouth full of food is an example of bad table manners. Remember table manners? The rules for eating correctly at the table. Okay, thank you, Pamela. Next one, and number 5, Christy, again, please.
In some cultures, it's customary
It's customary.
to name children after a living relative, and most people observe that tradition.
Okay, in some cultures, it's customary to name children after a living relative. Okay, and most people observe that tradition. Christy, do you think we use this tradition here in Mexico, or is it customary for us?
Yes.
Okay, can you give me an example of this?
Mm, my
Uh-huh.
my my dad.
Okay.
Your name is Miguel.
His name?
His name is Miguel, and my se me olvidó cómo se dice abuelo.
Grandpa?
My grandpa is your name. No, his name is Miguel.
Okay, Miguel too. Okay, very good. You said your grandfather and your father's name is Miguel and your grandfather's name is Miguel as well, right? Perfect, perfect example. That's what it means, this number 5. Thank you. Number 6, Jessie, please, can you help me with that one?
Yes. Each culture has rules of etiquette that are important for visitors to that country to know.
Okay, each culture has rules of etiquette that are important for visitors to that country to know. Okay, just give me 3 seconds. I think this is correct. The rules of etiquette, it's important for visitors to that country to know. Can you give me an example of rules of etiquette that we have in Monterrey or in Mexico that you can think of? Whatever it is, something that you shouldn't do, okay, or that you should do. Not necessarily in a restaurant, like in whatever it is, the traffic at school, at work.
Give the pass
Okay.
when people crossing the street.
Okay, nice. So to allow people to pass when they're crossing the street and you're driving.
Yes.
Okay, very good. That's a good example of an etiquette rule we have. It's not like written anywhere, right? There's not a book for rules to be in Mexico, but it's part of our culture. So very good, Jesse. Thank you. Number 7, Andrea, can you read number 7 for me, please?
Yes. In more conservative cultures, it's slightly.
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 Slightly, yes. It's like
Slightly.
very, very little, okay? Very poquito.
Slightly.
It's slightly.
Slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Impolite to call someone by his or her first name without being
Invited?
invited to,
Mhm.
but it isn't truly offensive.
Very good. This is not like, this is a very good point. Like in more conservative cultures, okay, it's slightly impolite to call someone by his or her first name without being invited to, but it's not truly offensive. Andrea, do you think we have something like this in our culture? Andy?
Mm, no te entendí la pregunta,
Okay,
¿puedes repetirla?
Ken, do you think we have a similar example like this one in our culture? Again, the example says that in some cultures, it's that more conservative cultures, it's a little bit impolite or slightly impolite to call someone by his or her first name. For example, if I don't know you and I tell you, hey, Andrea, how are you? In some countries, that can be impolite. In our country, it's not necessarily impolite, but do you think we have any similar examples of this, of any kind that you might think of?
No sé, no se me ocurre ninguno.
Okay, let me help you with this one. You can answer in English, okay?
Okay.
For example, Andrea, when you were a kid, a little girl, okay, you were like, I don't know, 10 years old, and you went to your grandmother's house, okay, and then your uncles and your aunts and your grandparents were there. How did you call them? Did you call them by their names, or did you call them like sir and Mrs.? For example, I don't know. How did you refer to your uncles or to your aunts? By their first name or not?
For their first names?
First name, okay.
Yes.
But what about, did you were you like hey Marta, can you help me with the, no, right? We don't do that here in Mexico. We are like usted, right? That's like the word we use or the formality we
Oh,
use,
yeah.
correct? We
Sí.
don't go by the first name because it's impolite, okay? It's not offensive. It's not like if you call her, hey tia, I don't know, but an offensive thing, like, okay? It's not necessarily offensive, but it's not correct. It's impolite, okay?
Okay, yes.
That's the example I wanted to give you. Thank you. And the last one, Pamela, can you help me with number 8, please?
The most successful global travelers today have developed their cultural literacy.
Again?
So, cultural
Literacy.
literacy. So they are aware
Aware.
of differences in
Etiquette.
what is etiquette from culture to culture.
Very good. The most successful global travelers today, okay? The most successful global travelers, people who travel a lot around the world, the most successful global travelers today have developed their cultural literacy. So they are aware of the differences, okay? They know the differences in etiquette or in the rules from culture to culture, okay? Can you give me an example of something that, Pamela, something that you would do if you traveled to a different country? Whatever you can think of, something that is different. What would you do for to make a difference if you go to a different country?
Maybe the food.
Okay, in the food. Okay, what would you do with the to acknowledge or to be conscient of the cultural difference? For example, I'm going to give you an example. If I go to Japan and I say hi to a person, I'm probably not gonna be like chocolas because they don't do that there, okay? I'm just gonna bow like here, like the picture. I would do that in Japan or China because that's part of their culture. Can you think of another example, if you want with food or with anything you want in a different culture? What would you do if you go to a different country? Take your time. It's like, probably it's a difficult question, but think of something, whatever you want. I don't know, it can be at work, it can be when you say hi to a person, it can be at their religion, it can be, I don't know. If you can think of anything, I can help you, okay?
Can you help me, please?
Okay, yes, I will. For example, Pamela, if you go to Egypt or Africa or a country in the other side of the world, okay? Would you wear different types of clothes to be there, or would you wear the same clothes you wear here?
The same when I stay here.
When you, okay, but like, remember there in some countries like in Egypt or Pakistan or places like that, women don't show their hair, okay? Because it's not that it's wrong, it's just part of the culture, okay? So you would probably need to cover your hair if you're there, okay?
Okay.
Or maybe wear like a different type of clothing, right? Like long clothes that cover your body, whatever it is, but it would have to be different, right? That is cultural literacy, okay? When you are aware, when you see the differences and you adequate, okay, to be part of the culture. Nice, okay. Good job, Pamela, thank you. Now, we have a little exercise here. I don't know if we're gonna make it on time to get there, but I think we already did exercise C with the questions, but I don't want to get a lot of into it. So let's just go ahead and get to the listening.
Listening comprehension. Exercise chart. Listen to 3 calls from a radio show.
There are 3 different phone calls at a radio show, okay? It says, look at the subjects on the chart. Listen to 3 calls from a radio chart. Check the subjects that are discussed during each call. Subjects are the topics, okay? The topics of conversation. They can talk about table manners, greetings, dress and clothing, male or female behavior, taboos, offensive behavior, punctuality, or language. The first call is Arturo and Jetrin. The next one is Hiroko and Nadla. And the last one is Javier and Sujit. Okay? We're just gonna make exercise A. So pay a lot of attention and we're gonna check on the check marks depending on what they discuss in the call. Okay?
Check the subjects that are discussed during each call. Exercise B. Summarize. Listen again. On a separate sheet of paper, take notes about the calls. Then, with a partner, write a summary of each call. Use the vocabulary.
I'm gonna mute my microphone.
Call 1. Arturo and Jetrine.
Good morning, world. This is Millicent McKay in Brussels with today's Worldwide Cultural Literacy Update. If you're new to the program, here's the format. In the studio, 3 people take your phone calls and answer your questions about etiquette in their countries. Today's guests are Jetrine from Thailand, Nadia from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and Sujit from Nepal. We're all first name here, so let me welcome Jetrine, Nadia, and Sujit.
Sawadee Krap, Millicent. Good morning. I'm Jetrine from Thailand.
Hello, it's nice to be with you. I'm Nadia from Dubai.
And good morning, Millicent, Jetrine, and Nadia. Sujit here from Nepal.
Okay, let's get started. I see our first caller is on the line. Hello, Arturo from Montevideo. You're on the air.
Good morning. Actually, good evening. It's 10:30 at night here in Montevideo. But here's my question. I'm traveling on business to Thailand next month, and I'll be working with Thai business managers from my company. What should I know?
Hello, Arturo. Jetrin here. Just a couple of things. First, a taboo. Don't touch anyone's head, not even a child's.
Hmm? Well, I don't ordinarily touch people's heads, but if you don't mind my asking, what's wrong with touching someone's head?
Well, we believe the head is where the person's soul lives. So it's very disrespectful and offensive to touch a person's head.
Any other tips?
Well, when you are seated, be sure not to cross your legs in such a way that others can see the bottom of your foot.
Actually, I knew that. But don't worry, it's good to be reminded. I do have one more specific question before I hang up.
Sure. What's that?
In Uruguay, it's customary to shake hands, and I know Thai people greet each other with a Y. Will it seem impolite for a foreigner to do the Y? And what happens if I don't do it right? Will that be offensive?
Absolutely not. Just put the palms of your hands together on your chest and bow slightly. Say Sawadee Kap. For the women listening, you say Sawadee Ka. You will warm our hearts with that. Don't worry if you don't do it exactly the way Thais do it. And don't worry about the pronunciation. Have a wonderful trip to Thailand. Try to do some sightseeing and taste our wonderful food.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jatrine and Arturo, for a good lesson in...
Okay, we're gonna listen to that again, and I'm gonna help you a little bit understanding, okay?
Well, we believe in things. First, a taboo.
Morning. Actually, good.
Arturo from Montevideo, you're on the air.
Montevideo, Uruguay, okay?
Good morning. Actually, good evening. It's 10:30 at night here in Montevideo.
It's 10:30 at night.
But here's my question. I'm traveling on business to Thailand next month, and I'll be working with Thai business managers from my company.
Okay? He's gonna go to Thailand to work with managers in Thailand.
What should I know?
And the question is, what should I know? Okay, what can you recommend to me?
Hello, Arturo. Jetrin here.
The person who is talking, Yitrin, is from Thailand, okay?
Just a couple of things. First, a taboo. Don't touch anyone's head.
Okay, first, a taboo. Don't touch anyone's what?
Head.
Head. Don't touch anyone's head.
Not even a child's.
Hmm? Well, I don't ordinarily touch people's heads, but if you don't mind my asking, what's wrong with touching someone's head?
Well, we believe the head is where the person's soul lives.
We believe the head is where the person's soul lives, okay? A person's soul lives in their heads.
So it's very disrespectful and offensive to touch a person's head.
Any other tips?
Okay, that's the first one. Then he asks, any other tips?
Well, when you are seated, be sure not to cross your legs in such a way that others can see the bottom of your foot.
Don't cross your legs in such a way or in a form that others can see the bottom of your feet, or in this case of your foot, okay? So when you cross the leg, don't let others see the bottom of your foot.
Actually, I knew that.
Actually, I knew that, he says.
But don't worry, it's good to be reminded. I do have one more specific question before I hang up.
Sure. What's that?
In Uruguay, it's customary to shake hands, and I know Thai people greet each other with a Y. Will it seem impolite for a foreigner to do the Y?
The Y is a type of salute, okay? If I don't know if you remember on the first on the preview when we saw the conversation, the woman did the Y. You remember that? You don't?
Santiago office. Sabatica.
Sabatica.
Where did you learn the why?
Where did you learn the why? That's the why. Okay. Just a reminder for you guys. Let me go back here.
What happens if I don't do it right?
He says, in Uruguay, we shake hands. Okay. What happens if we don't do the why?
Will that be offensive?
Would that be offensive?
Absolutely not. Just put the palms of your hands together on your chest.
Just put the palms of your hands, okay, the palms together on your chest,
And bow slightly.
and bow slightly. You remember, like here, like they do, bow, but with the hands on the chest, okay?
Say Sawadee Kap.
Say sawadee ka,
For the women listening, you say Sawadee Ka.
and when for the women you say suwandee ka.
You will warm our hearts with that.
You will warm a heart, sweet, with that. Oh, that's like you will make them feel very good if you say that.
Don't worry if you don't do it exactly the way Thais do it. And don't worry about the pronunciation. Have a wonderful trip to Thailand.
Okay. So, Jesse, or whoever you want, but let's go with Jesse first.
Yes.
You tell me one of the subjects that they mentioned in the call.
The first is taboo.
A taboo, okay. What was the taboo?
About touching heads.
Touching people's heads.
Yes.
Okay, people's heads. What's with that? Why shouldn't they touch people's heads?
Because they think that head is the soul of the persons.
Of the people, okay?
Of the people.
Remember, person, just one, people,
Yes.
plural. Very good. They believe the head is where the soul is, right?
Yes.
Very good. Good job. Okay, thank you, Jesse. Who can give me the other subject or the other topic that they mentioned? Oh,
Male behavior.
male behavior, male and female behavior, right?
One.
What was the difference, or where was the difference?
One is for the women, and male is for men's.
Exactly, for men.
Men.
Correct. There's a pronunciation for men and there's a pronunciation for women. Okay, and the last one was maybe we could say probably with greetings. Okay, Jesse, what do you remember about the greetings? What is the name of the most common greeting in Thailand?
Oh, I don't remember.
Why? The why? And what do they have to do with their body to use the why? You got this. You got it. Yeah, bow. Okay, bow a little bit. And what about the hands? Where do you put your hands? Do you remember?
Yes, but
you put your palms together. Where? In your head, in your chest, in your leg, in your arm? Where do you put your hands? On your...
Es que no sé cómo se dice.
Close, very close. On your chest, okay? On your chest, yes. Below your head, not above, below your head, on your chest. I'm gonna turn on my camera real quick so you guys can see what I mean. Okay, hello. So you put your palms together and you put them on your chest and then you bow like this. And you say, wada, wada, wada. I don't remember that. This is how you do it. Okay, good job. Okay, I'm gonna leave my camera on because I think we're making a lot of body language to explain these things. And probably the other one was about the foot, right? When you sit and cross the legs, don't let them see your foot. Probably could talk about offensive behavior because it was offensive for them if you did that. Okay, thank you, Jesse. Very good. Jesse helped me with number one. I'm gonna ask Christy and well, maybe yeah, Christy and Andrea and Pamela to help me with the others. So pay a lot of attention, guys.
Try to do some sightseeing and taste our wonderful food.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jatrine and Arturo, for a good lesson in cultural literacy. Let's take a break and then another call.
Let's take a break. No, we're not gonna take a break.
Call 2, Hiroko and Nadia.
Welcome back, listeners. This is Millicent McKay with a worldwide town meeting answering all your questions about do's and taboos around the world. Let's say hello to Hiroko from Osaka, Japan. Hiroko, you're on the air.
Thank you, Millicent. My husband and I are going to Dubai. He's a banker and has business there, but I'm going with him as a tourist.
The husband is a banker and they're gonna go to Dubai. Okay? And she's gonna go as a tourist.
I'm very interested in all kinds of culture, and I understand Dubai is very different from Japan. I have 3 questions.
Hello, Hiroko. Nadia on the line.
Okay?
Thanks, Nadia. If I'm alone, can I walk on the street or drive a car? If I'm alone,
If I'm alone, if there's nobody with me,
can I walk on the street or drive a car?
can I walk or drive a car in the street?
When we went to Saudi Arabia, women were not permitted to go out alone or drive.
Absolutely.
Can I walk or drive a car or listen to the radio because women are not allowed to walk alone?
As a woman traveler, you will have no difficulty getting around, even if you are alone.
Okay? As a woman traveler, you're good. You will have no difficulty traveling around, even if you are alone.
You can drive, and as long as you dress modestly, you can wear whatever you like.
Okay? As long as you dress modestly, you can wear whatever you want.
Second question. I don't speak any Arabic.
Again,
I don't speak any Arabic.
no problem. As you know, Arabic is the official language of Dubai, but English is commonly used in tourism and commerce.
Okay? Arabic is the common language in Dubai, but English is very commonly used as well.
You speak very good English, Nadia. Where did you learn it?
I actually am an English teacher.
Me too.
I learned my English in the United States
I learned
at
it
the University of Wisconsin.
And my last question. I'm an amateur photographer. Will I be able to take pictures in Dubai?
Well, yes, but you should know that it is considered offensive to take pictures of Muslim women here.
Okay? You can take pictures whatever you want, but remember it's offensive to take pictures of women, Muslim women in Dubai.
Oh, I'm glad I asked. What about pictures of men?
Well, yes, just be sure to ask permission.
Just be sure to ask for permission.
I don't know how to thank you. I'm really looking forward to the trip.
Okay? Christy, can you tell me one subject they mentioned on the call?
The language.
The language. What did they say about the language?
Bueno, no sé cómo se decía, pero se decía que de English is común.
Very common.
Very common in
What is the first language in Dubai? Arabic. Okay, Arabic is the first language, but English is very common as well. Okay. Good job. Thank you, Christy. What about Andrea? What can you tell me another subject that they mentioned?
Male, female behavior.
Male and female behavior. What about this?
Because don't take pictures with
Don't take pictures
Huh?
a woman
Of women?
of women, and
Why not?
it's offensive.
Because it's considered offensive. So we're talking also about offensive behavior. Okay, good.
And the men's,
Men?
and you need to tell if he give a permission.
Okay, you need to ask for permission.
For a permission.
For permission to what?
To take a picture.
To take a picture of men. So very good. We're talking about offensive behavior, language, men and female behavior. What about dress and clothing, Andrea and Mela? Did they mention something about this?
Yes.
What did they say?
Dress and clothing.
Dress and clothing, but what did they mention about this? You remember it?
Don't walk alone.
Okay, you can walk alone. It's fine if you walk
can.
alone. Just there's a condition. If you want to go alone, there's a condition.
When to use the dress.
Okay.
Large.
Large dresses, for example. So let's rephrase that. If you are going to walk alone, be sure to wear modest clothes. Okay? Modest clothes. Very good. Let's go with the last one. Yeah? Okay. Let's go. Yeah. Do you have any questions? I see you opening and closing.
No.
Okay, good. Let's go with the last one and then we finish. Okay? Then we're gonna close it with this last one. So pay a lot of attention because I'm gonna ask questions. Okay? Christy and Jesse as well. Let's go.
We'll be right back with our final call.
Call 3. Javier and Sujit.
I think we have time for one more caller. Javier from Mexico City, welcome to the show. How can we help you?
I'm going to Nepal next month on an international trek.
I'm going to Nepal next month.
I'll be staying with a Nepalese family for a weekend, and I want to be sure I don't offend anyone.
I'm going to be with a family for a weekend, and I want to be sure I don't offend anyone.
Mexico is very different from Nepal.
Well, let's ask Sujit to comment.
Hi, Javier. Let's talk about table manners. First of all, Nepalese don't usually use spoons, forks, or knives.
Okay. Let's talk about table manners. First, Nepalese never use forks, spoons, or knives.
No? So how do the people eat? How will I eat?
How do you eat? How would I eat?
Well, your host will eat with their right hand, never the left hand. But I'm sure they'll provide you with spoons and forks.
Again?
With their right hand, never the...
Eat. How will I eat?
Well, your host will eat with their right hand, never the left hand. But I'm sure they'll provide you with spoons and forks.
So people normally eat with their hands, okay? Always the right hand, never the left hand. But they will provide him a spoon or a fork.
If they're welcoming foreigners into their home, they'll want you to be comfortable.
If they are welcoming foreigners, a foreigner, remember, a foreigner is a person who comes from a different country. So if they are welcoming a foreigner into their house, into their home, I'm sure they want to make you feel comfortable. They want to give you a spoon or a fork to eat.
But remember one important taboo. Beef is strictly forbidden as a food in both Hindu and Buddhist homes. Our typical food, however, is wonderful and very flavorful and healthy.
That's great.
Welcoming foreigners into their home is strictly forbidden as a food in both Hindu. But remember one important taboo. Beef is strictly forbidden as a food in both Hindu and Buddhist homes.
Okay, remember one taboo. Beef is strictly prohibited, okay, for their food. They have a lot of different types of food that are very healthy and very good, but beef is prohibited, okay? Beef, remember beef. Food made out of a cow.
Our typical food, however, is wonderful and very flavorful and healthy.
Our typical food is wonderful, flavorful, healthy. It's really good.
That's great, because I'm Mexican, and we have great food in Mexico too. I love good food when I travel. Sujit, I'm very interested in culture, but I don't know much about Hinduism and Buddhism.
I'm very interested in culture, but I don't know much about Hinduism and Buddhism. Remember, in those parts of the world, the religion is very important.
What can you tell me?
Well, if you visit a Hindu temple or a Buddhist shrine,
If you visit a Hindu temple or a Buddhist tribe,
you must remove your shoes, or
always remove your shoes.
Or if you prefer, you can wear open sandals.
Or wear open sandals, okay?
Check first. In some Hindu temples, non-Hindus can't enter.
Check first. This is important. Check first. In some Hindu temples, okay, non-Hindus can't enter.
And very important, don't take leather things near the temple. And if you want to take a picture, be sure to ask before using your camera. Things near the temple. Hindus can't enter. And very important, don't take leather things near the temple.
Very important. Don't take leather things near the temple. Leather. What is leather? For example, a belt, okay? It's or a jacket that is made of leather. Cuero, okay? Leather, an animal skin, okay? So don't take anything with leather into a temple. And before you want to take pictures, ask.
And if you want to take a picture, be sure to ask before using your camera.
Thanks so much. I feel very prepared now.
My pleasure.
I wouldn't feel very prepared. They have a lot of rules. But okay, just before we finish, Jesse, can you help me with the last one, number 3? What subjects did they mention in the call?
Tables, manners.
Tables manners or table manners. Okay, what did they say about table manners?
About the people eat with the hands, with the right hand.
Okay, people in Nepal eat with their right hand.
And don't use knife.
Knives or
spoon.
Or spoons or it starts with an F. F.
Lo tengo, pero no
I'm gonna give you the answer, okay? A fork.
Fork. Yes.
Okay, so we have spoons,
knives,
knives, and forks. Okay, the forks are the ones with this camera is blurring me, but anyways. So
yes.
You cannot use those. You have to eat the hand, specifically the right hand. Very good. Thank you, Jess. Anybody else? Christy, what else can you tell me of the subjects they mentioned on the call? Christy, oh, there you go.
Taboos.
Taboos, okay. What taboo specifically?
The food is
Ajá.
Él pensaba que iba, como que iba a batallar con la comida, pero que sí es muy, sí es muy variada ahí en Japón. Pero no sé cómo decirlo.
Pero el tabú está en cierta comida específica. ¿Cuál es?
No estoy segura si era la carne.
Ajá, how do you say that?
Beef.
Or somebody can help Christy with the name of that meat?
A beef.
Beef. Very good. Remember, Christy, it's taboo to eat beef or cow meat. Okay?
It's
very good. Uh-huh.
To eat beef?
To eat beef. Correct. They don't eat beef. Okay? And there's one more thing, Pamela, what can you tell me about that one? The last one. Pam? Can you open the microphone, please? Andrea? Oh, there you go. So, Pamela, what else do you remember about this lecture? There's one more subject, even two. If not, I can help you, but try to remember.
I don't know.
Don't worry, I'll help you with this one, okay? Okay, Jesse, yes?
Dress and clothing.
Dress and clothing, correct. What specifically did they mention about this?
You
Shouldn't?
you shouldn't the jacket.
You shouldn't wear. Okay, remember shouldn't needs a verb. Okay, so you shouldn't wear anything made of what?
The shoes.
Okay, you shouldn't wear shoes when you enter a temple. That's very good.
Yes.
But there was one more thing.
And
What's the name of the material you shouldn't approach to the temples?
Leather.
Leather, correct.
Yes.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Pam. Remember, never bring anything of leather, which brings us to offensive behavior. It can be offensive for them if you take something with leather into a temple, or if you don't remove your shoes or something like that. All right. Last question. Where was he going to travel? Where's Javier going? What's the country he's going to be traveling to?
Nepal.
Nepal. And how long is he going to be there?
I know.
How long? Anybody remember? Just a weekend, okay, with a family that's going to receive him. But okay, I don't want to take any more of your time. Guys, we're doing very good, but I need you to give some extra practice to your listening skills, okay? You need to listen in English. Whatever you want, music, movies, TV shows, anything, but it's very important that you listen and watch, because when you watch something, you see how people talk, how they move their mouths. And this exercise is really important for you to improve your listening skills. I want you to be very good with listening. And also, I want you to practice on how to articulate an answer. I'm going to ask you more questions. I'm going to ask you questions to talk, not just yes or no questions. I'm going to ask you information questions, and I need you to develop the answer. Okay? This is the hard part, but it's getting good. It's going to get good. We have to practice with that, though. One more thing before we finish is just to mention next Thursday, so tomorrow and then 2 days more on Thursday, we're going to have our first dynamic of Kahoot. Okay, so I'm gonna need you guys to download Kahoot, or if you know how to use it, you can use it in your computer, whatever you prefer. But be ready, because I'm gonna give you guys a little exercise or whatever, and yeah, we're gonna work with that. All right. Anybody has any questions before we finish?
No.
No.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful night. Eat a very good dinner, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Take care.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.